A forgotten legacy, a dangerous truth. The Galactic Council archives were among the most heavily secured places in the universe. Thousands of years of history were stored there, ensuring the galaxy's rulers could control the past as well as the future. Yet, buried deep within layers of encrypted files, there was something no one was supposed to find. A name, a species, a forgotten legacy, a discovery that should not exist. Historian Karesh Vorr had spent his life searching for lost knowledge. His people, the Velthans, were known for their obsession with history, but even they had limits on what could be studied. But Karesh Vorr was not like the others. On this day, he had uncovered something impossible. A data file, long buried under layers of redaction, labeled only with a single erased word. He bypassed the final encryption, his fingers trembling. Then on the holoscreen, letters flashed into existence. Humanity. His breath caught in his throat. That name, that myth. His people did not speak of them. No one did, because they were not supposed to exist. The Council's lie. Karesh scrolled through the records, his heart pounding. Thousands of years ago, humanity had been one of the most powerful species in the galaxy. They had spread across the stars, their technology unmatched, their resilience terrifying. Then, one day, they were gone. No records of a war, no official declaration, simply erased from history, as if they had never existed. Karesh felt cold. This was not natural. This was deliberate. Someone had erased an entire species, and now he had found the truth. The warning comes too late. Before he could process the full weight of his discovery, his terminal flashed red. Alert. Unauthorized access DTCTE. Security teams dispatched. Karesh froze. Then the doors to the archive slammed open. Armored Council enforcers flooded in, their weapons raised. Step away from the terminal. One barked. Karesh's mind raced. They knew. They had been watching all along. This was why no one spoke of humanity. Because those who did disappeared. But before they could stop him, Karesh made one final move. He pressed send. A secure transmission, carrying everything he had found, was blasted out into the void, to coordinates long abandoned, to a place that should have been empty, to humanity's last known location, a desperate signal carrying a forgotten legacy sent into the silence, hoping that someone, somewhere, was still listening. Aboard the UNS Revenant, the forgotten answer the call. Far beyond the Council's reach, in a system long considered dead, something stirred. A ship, ancient yet fully operational, powered up for the first time in centuries. Its name etched into its hull, written in a language the galaxy had erased. UNS Revenant. Deep within the command bridge, lights flickered to life. Screens flashed as a message was received. Captain Elias Voss, a man who had spent his life waiting for this moment, leaned forward. The words on the screen were simple, but they changed everything. They know. A silence filled the room. Then Elias Voss gave the order. Prepare the fleet. It's time. The forgotten were coming back. And this time, they would not be erased. Aboard the UNS Revenant, the awakening. The UNS Revenant, a forgotten warship hidden in deep space, came alive after centuries of silence. Its dark hull, scared by time, gleamed under the distant starlight. Lights flickered across the command bridge as long-dormant systems booted up. Captain Elias Voss stood at the center, his face illuminated by the glow of the screens. He read the message once more. They know. The words were simple, but their meaning was monumental. For centuries, humanity had waited, watching from the shadows, hidden from the Galactic Council's grasp. And now, the time had come. Status report, Voss commanded. His second-in-command, Commander Sarah Holt, checked her console. All critical systems online. Weapons charge. Fleet formations are holding position. Voss exhaled slowly. Then let's make sure the galaxy never forgets us again. Karesh Vorr, the fugitive historian. Meanwhile, in the depths of the Galactic Council's capital, historian Karesh Vorr was running for his life. The moment he had uncovered humanity's secret, the Council's enforcers had been dispatched to silence him. He sprinted through the corridors of the Grand Archive, clutching the small data drive, the only evidence that humanity had been erased on purpose. Behind him, heavy footsteps echoed. "Seal the exits," a voice barked. Karesh's heart pounded. He reached a maintenance tunnel and slid through just as a plasma bolt scorched the air beside him. He activated his emergency communicator. "If anyone can hear this, I have proof. Humanity was wiped from history. The Council has lied." Static. The connection was jammed. A shadow loomed behind him. An armored enforcer raised a weapon. "Surrender, historian. The truth dies with you." Karesh refused to die in silence. With a final, desperate move, he threw the data drive into a secure transmission node. The system flashed green. A transmission had been sent. Not to the Council, not to any known world, but to the UNS Revenant. And with that, the last historian to uncover the truth was captured. The Council's greatest fear comes true. Inside the Galactic Assembly Hall, the most powerful leaders of the galaxy sat in stunned silence. Chancellor Orrell clenched his fists as he read the latest report. The data has been leaked. Someone sent it to deep space coordinates. Councillor Vornak, always the most aggressive voice, snarled. "It's them. The ghosts of Earth. We should have wiped them out when we had the chance." Orrell sighed, rubbing his temples. "We need to act quickly. If humanity truly survived, we are not prepared to face them." Silence. For centuries, they had lied. They had erased every trace of humanity, destroyed their colonies, burned their records. And yet, humanity had endured. And now, they were returning. The return of the Forgotten Fleet. Above the Council's core world, a fleet decloaked. Dozens of massive warships, painted in the colors of a civilization fought extinct, emerged from the void. At the center of them, the UNS Revenant led the charge. Across the fleet, transmissions blared across open frequencies, and for the first time in 1,000 years, a human voice spoke to the galaxy. "You tried to erase us." Chancellor Orrell froze as the voice echoed across the assembly hall speakers. It was Elias Voss, the leader of a species they had wiped from history. "You buried our name. You destroyed our worlds. You thought we were gone." His voice was calm, but it carried centuries of anger, resilience, and purpose. "You were wrong." A reckoning at the Galactic Council. Panic erupted within the Council's command center. How did they get here undetected? "We must send the fleet. No fleet can stop them." Orrell's hands shook. "What do they want?" The answer came immediately. Across the Council's holoscreens, a final message appeared. A simple ultimatum. The era of silence is over. The Council will answer for its crimes. The forgotten have returned. And this time, history will not be rewritten. As the first shots were fired and the Council's fleets fell apart, the leaders of the galaxy realized the truth. Humanity was not here to conquer. They were here to remind the galaxy of what it had done. And this time, they would not be erased again. The final battle. The Council's last desperate move. The Galactic Council's homeworld, a planet covered in towering spires and endless cities, was now under siege. The skies burned as humanity's forgotten fleet tore through the Council's defenses. Energy shields collapsed, planetary defense cannons fell silent, and fleets that had once ruled the galaxy were reduced to debris. For the first time in 1,000 years, the rulers of the galaxy felt something they had not known before. Fear. Inside the Grand Assembly Hall, Chancellor Orrell and his advisors watched in horror as their screens filled with reports of ships lost, planets abandoned, and allies refusing to fight. "This is impossible," Councillor Vornak whispered. "They should not exist." But they did. And they were here. Humanity's final message. Aboard the UNS Revenant, Captain Elias Voss stood on the bridge, staring at the ruined fleets before them. His ship's weapons were locked on the Council's capital city, but he gave no order to fire. Instead, he activated the universal communication link. And across the stars, every species, every leader, and every soldier heard the final message of humanity. His voice was calm, unshaken, but firm. We do not come as conquerors. We do not come as rulers. We come as a reminder. The council chambers fell silent. You erased us. You tried to bury our name. But we have returned. Voss's gaze darkened, and history will remember us. The entire galaxy listened, unable to deny the truth before them. The councils collapse. A new order rises. Chancellor Orel, seeing no escape, fell to his knees. He had ruled for centuries, believing the council to be invincible. Now he faced the ghosts of his past mistakes. We surrender, he whispered. The council's defenses lowered, their fleets stood down, and their leaders were arrested. For the first time in recorded history, the Galactic Council fell. But humanity did not take its place. Instead, they offered something different. A chance to build something new. A galaxy that was not ruled by fear, but by truth. The age of secrecy, oppression, and lies was over. And in its place, a new alliance was formed, one where no species would ever be erased again. The final transmission from Earth. As the dust settled and peace was restored, a final message was broadcast across the stars. It was old, recovered from humanity's lost homeworld. A voice, long since gone, yet still echoing into the future. If you are hearing this, then humanity has returned. Know this, we do not seek war, but we do not kneel. We are the forgotten, and we will never be erased again. The message ended, and with it, a new era of history began. The forgotten had risen, and the galaxy would never forget them again.